Hello, cherubs. Oh dear, it'd help if I got it in gear. That would be a start, wouldn't it? Yes, we are on our way. We are back in the car. I did promise you we'd be back in the car today. I know we was on our little extensive walk around the field last episode. So now, yeah, we're back in the car and on our way. Journey time today is going to be around about 35 minutes, something like that. As you can see, I am suited and booted, ready to go. This is actually not work today. This is a job interview today. And the reason why I haven't told you guys about this job interview is because literally I believe that if you publicise something and make a big deal out of it, then it's not going to happen. Now, this was kind of thrust in front of me without me realising it, to be honest. It's around about the same sort of distance as what the current employment is, and yeah, it's back within the gym industry. So this is away from sports and back in gym. This sort of thing have been on the cards for a while. Been back and forwards with emails and bits and pieces. And the lady that I'm meeting seems quite nice. I don't know much about the actual company that runs these facilities, but it would seem as though they've got an interest in me because they've actually put me forward for 2 positions at 2 different locations. So they're obviously keen in what I've done. I didn't actually apply for these things. They were actually sort of headhunty kind of, would you be interested kind of thing, by a recruitment agent who was come across my profile on LinkedIn. I was like, okay. So yeah, we'll see how we go today, and we'll see what they got to offer. If it's something that I feel that I can build as a project and be quite a part of and have something to give and believe in the actual product itself, then I might be able to do something with it. If I look at it and think, well, this is not really my vibe, then obviously I'll say thank you very much for the opportunity, but probably not for me. We'll stick where we are. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Now, last night I did say that I was going to give you a heads up on what happened. I might have gone and taken another episode as I was heading out, but in all honesty, because the drive there was only about 8 minutes and it would have been 8 minutes back, yeah, it wouldn't have been worth your time to even listen. So I figured, you know what, I'm just going to update you on the next episode and see where we go. So last night I went out to a Masons event at a Masonic lodge. Never been to one before. I do know a bit about Masonic stuff just through what my dad had gone through and things, and they were saying, you know, it takes 7 years of doing this thing to get to the chair and blah blah blah. And I was invited by my friend Reese, nice fella. I mean, literally as soon as we got in the door, they set upon us. Are you going to join? You're going to join? You're going to join? You're going to join? I'm like, oh, hang on, hold on. I ain't even seen a temple yet. Give us a break. So yeah, and then went and showed us around and things like that, and you know, the previous what they call worshipful masters. That's basically the guy in the chair. He's a worshipful master. Yeah, we had a nice meal. What is it? The meal consisted of what did we have to start? We had pate to start with, and then we had beef bourguignon with some potatoes and vegetables, and then for dessert we had spotted dick and custard, and there was a raffle as well. I won a mug. I won a mug out of all of the raffle things that were going on there. So there was like wines and spirits and what else was on there? There was Lynx aftershave and yeah. I got right down to the last thing that nobody obviously wanted, and I got a mug of the King's coronation. Oh well, never mind. That's funny. So yeah, that was a bit of a turn up, getting the last raffle prize that no bastard wanted. So yeah, I got myself a new mug. Brilliant. Don't know what I'm going to do with that, because I don't actually drink tea or coffee, but never mind. Hey ho. But yeah, no, very nice evening. Seemed like nice guys that go in there, but in all honesty, the guys that are there are all 60 plus. And I don't know whether that's their drive trying to get some new fresh blood in, or it just so happens that we were the youngest there that night. But yeah, they were all pretty much over 50s and 60s. And when I said about the membership fees are quite steep, you know. They are quite steep. I mean, they wanted £300 to go and join. £300. Like, Jesus. And he said, oh, he's like admin fees and all this kind of thing. And then you got to pay 50 quid a year to be part of it. And you go like 7 times a year. And then you got to pay for your dinners on top of that as well. Now, granted, it is all charity stuff and fair play, you know, they do a lot of charity work or whatever, but I don't know whether I would see the benefits from it. You know, obviously it's like a social event as well, it's quite nice, and, you know, you say you're a Mason and rah, 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 but I don't know whether I would see the benefits of it. I mean, last night was obviously very nice, but he did message me and say, you know, I think he would be a perfect fit for the Masons and blah, blah, blah. Okay, thanks very much for the compliment. That's very nice of you. I'll certainly think about it. I'm not going to dismiss it immediately. But one thing I do remember my old man saying to go, you're not ready to be a Mason yet. What do you mean not ready? Not ready, my arse. Do you know what? I could be a Mason like that from the age of about 20. Not a problem. Just because I act silly and live a free life where I don't care what anybody thinks or says to me doesn't mean that I can't adapt myself to a social situation where, you know, I have to be a little bit more prim and proper and whatever. Talking out of his arse. But that was his actual words, you know. He actually said, you're not ready to be a Mason. But said to my brother, who's 2 years younger than me, yeah, you could be a Mason. What? Who says that? You're not ready to be I didn't want to be a bastard Mason anyway. Much better things to do than to spend my evenings with 60-plus-year-olds chewing on dinner. But now, don't know, not going to dismiss it. Not going to dismiss it. I mean, to be honest with you, if it was like a cheaper membership, then I might think about it a little bit more harder, because that £300 is a lot of money to be inducted, like as a member. I don't know. One to think about, guys, one to think about. Do you think I should become a Mason or not? That is the burning question of the day. Should I or should I not? Seems expensive. It's not exactly a secret society anymore. However, right, all those years, my dad refused to tell me what the handshake was, what the secret handshake was, and I kind of had an idea of what it might be. And I was looking last night, and I just see exactly what it was. It was quite intriguing to see, because I was like, okay, because when I first walked in there, I was one of the first guys in, and a couple of people shook my hand and said, hello, how you doing? And I didn't really cotton to the whole handshake thing straight away, but two guys did exactly the same thing, and I felt pressure on a certain area of my hand. I was like, okay, that might be it. That might be the one. They might just be used to doing it in this setting. And as they were kind of leaving after the dinner and things, I started watching all of them handshake each other, you know. And in all honesty, it was exactly what I thought it was. It was exactly as I thought it was. So now, without being a member, I'm going to handshake like a mason, and as a good mason should. And they might go, oh, okay, you're one of those, are you? Dib, dib, dob, dob. Part of the clan, eh? Part of the clan. Not really. I'm not really one of the clan at all. But I'll certainly handshake like it. And we'll see what opportunities arise from that. I might do that today, actually. Go into my job interview and do that. Mind you, I'm meeting a lady, and I don't think there are that many ladies in Masonic lodges at the moment. I know they've only just sort of allowed ladies to join, but I don't know whether there are a lot of ladies that have joined. So that might not be quite the thing that I should do today. Maybe, I don't know. If I was meeting a guy, then maybe I'd do it. And that sounds very sexist, and I'm not sexist at all. Equal opportunities and all that, but it's just in the right setting. You've got to use that, I think, for the opportunities. I mean, you never know. She might be. It might be. Who knows? I might give it a go. I'll let you know how that one goes, actually. I'll let you know whether I actually do the handshake in there or not. I'll also let you know how it goes as well, like whether they've tormented me in an interview, or they actually are quite reciprocating of what I'm saying. Be quite funny, but yeah. So after that small little interlude, I've had the interview, and in all honesty, I think I am well overqualified for it. They were asking me questions that you would ask someone who's, well, basically a school leaver. So I'm not entirely sure that it's going to be the position for me. The money's not great. The location of the club isn't great. There's a whole load of traffic just around here, and it's not even a busy time of the day. So, and there's no parking either. I think that's going to be a bit of grief, if I'm honest. So maybe not the one for me, in all honesty. But they seem nice enough. It's I don't think the gym is that premium, if I'm honest. Just by the way it looks and the way it feels and the way it's laid out, it does just look like they've taken an old like an old shopping centre thing, old shopping, what's it called, supermarket. Jesus Christ, get your words out. Old supermarket, and just put a box around the room at the front, and then stuck a load of gym kit in it. That's pretty much what they've done. Plus, the entrance looks like a prison. Yeah, it doesn't feel that great, if I'm honest. So I think what I will do is I'll probably just stick where I am, if I'm honest with you. I don't think that's going to be the one for me. But, you know, opportunities are never opportunities unless explored. So we've explored that now. On to the next. See where the BBD is. The bigger, better deal. Gotta make your way in the world, haven't you? And in all honesty, I don't want to make my way in the world with as little money as possible for as lot of effort as possible. I mean, it does feel quite relaxed and quite chilled. But, yeah, they said it's like a full-on 8 hours. I can't see that it would be that full-on in there, if I'm honest. They were making out that classes are hectic. Can't see that they're that hectic, if I'm honest. I don't know. I gave them all the answers they want, gave them a little bit of background about me, rattled on a little bit about Spain. Just what I am, really. But yeah. But it is currently 19.5 degrees outside, and it is beautiful. Beautiful. I maybe should open some windows here, I think. Very sorry if that's very windy for you, but I am absolutely roasting in here. Oh, so, how was your day been? How are you? I'd like to thank you for joining me on Riding Shotgun, even though the content has been a little bit flaky. What? Why is he messing with that little girl? Oh, okay, he's probably telling a joke. I'm not going to read that, because I guarantee you that is going to take me off YouTube. I know what his jokes are like. But yeah. So we're going to head home now. I have bought a load of food because tomorrow, do you remember in a few episodes ago I had a girl that I went on a date with? Well, she is going to come over for some food tonight. Tonight, yeah. And matey boy here is cooking. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to claim to be any Gordon Ramsay, but I definitely am going to claim to be a cut above the norm when it comes to food. When I first turned up in Spain, my first meal that I ate, which I went and bought, you know, I turned up and I went to Carrefour and got food, spent a bloody fortune, which was ridiculous. And I bought chicken, and I bought potatoes, and I bought gravy, and I bought peas. And I thought, yes, I'm going to have that for dinner. Well, my first meal when I turned up in Spain was exactly that. Chicken, mash, and peas with gravy. What I might happen to say is that the chicken was undercooked, so it was pink in the middle. Freaking nasty. The mashed potatoes, I didn't have a masher at all, right? So these mashed potatoes were lumpy, but also very, very milky at the same time. It was like, yeah, it was like lumpy milk. Lumpy milk. That's exactly what it was. Lumpy milk with undercooked chicken, peas that were like bullets, and gravy that was so thick you could paint it on a wall. Bloody horrible. Proper nasty. The worst meal I've ever tasted in my entire life. Like, I was put off with the chicken because it was raw. I was put off with the mashed potato because there were bits in it and it was just, felt like the bits were undercooked but everything else was milky and horrible. And the peas were like bullets. Just horrific meal. Really terrible. So I promised myself from that day that I would never, ever eat food that bad ever again. It was fucking horrible. Absolutely disgusting. Now, I was 18 years old. Never really cooked for myself before, unless it was like, you know, under supervision maybe. But I've certainly never been solely reliant on cooking something like that for myself, ever. and it didn't go well. It didn't go well at all. So I promised myself, absolutely no way, in no circumstances will I ever eat food like this or cook food like this ever again. Ever. And it was fucking nasty. So the next meal got a little bit better and a little bit better, a little bit better, until my food actually got quite good that I was able to cook in a bar. So I was a cook for a day and did like breakfast and sandwiches and things like that, and that was awesome. And also I was a chef in a bar restaurant for a good couple of months or so in the winter time to cover, and my food was pretty good. We did roast dinners and we did breakfasts and all that kind of thing, and I threw them out, and that was actually pretty decent, not bad at all. I think I'm pretty good at fry-up breakfasts. I would say I was pretty good at fry-up breakfast. And I'm probably taking a leaf out of my nan's book for that on my dad's side. And she used to run a cafe, obviously when she was alive and when she was so very much younger. She used to run a cafe and was very good at running a cafe. So I think I was very good at doing the breakfast side of things. I think. Probably why I had a knack for it. But you can ask Adam. I've cooked him fry-ups on more than one occasion, and he will always say that my fry-ups are absolutely out of this world, extraordinary, amazing. If I'm not blowing my own trumpet, you know. But he always says my fry-ups are amazing, and then he gets into a food coma and falls asleep straight after it, sitting at the table. It's just what he does. I mean, to be honest, I don't think I needed the food to even make him sit there and fall asleep at the table. He's just that person. He's been trying to find an Xbox One recently to play Tiger Woods golf with me, just like the old days when I were a lad. I mean, when that was happening, I must have been 21, 22, something like that. And he would be, well, how's he now? 49, isn't he? So he'd be 11 years older than me. So, so if I was 21, 22, he'd be 32, 33, something like that. And he would fall asleep then as well. That would be funny. That would be absolutely proper. Absolutely proper if he got the Xbox One, Tiger Woods as well, and fell asleep halfway through striking the ball, just like he used to as well. Because then it would go on that Instagram that I created. If you want to check out My Mate Asleep, which is exactly what the Instagram name is, my_mate_asleep. My Mate Asleep is literally just a bunch of pictures that I've got of him asleep in all different variations of positions. So he might be there holding his phone, he might be there sitting at the table, he might be there with a blanket over him, or he might just be holding his phone, drop his phone, make himself shit himself, and then wake up and startle. Because it is quite funny when he gets startled. It's like his soul disappears from his body for 5 seconds, and then he realises who he is, and then his soul comes back, and he's like, dick. Fine, I will be that dick because it's fucking hilarious. However, the Formula One has been cancelled this weekend, which is a nightmare because we were going to sit and watch that, and you know for a fact that if you don't fall asleep during the Formula One, you're not doing Formula One right. You've got to fall asleep during Formula One. It's just a done thing. You get about like past, I would say, lap 20, probably between lap 20 and lap 40 is when you have your snooze, and then you wake up for the final sort of 17, 18 laps and see the winner. And then you have a discussion about it, and then you go back over the bit that you've missed because you were sleeping, which actually contained nothing anyway. In all honesty, Formula One has got dead boring with Mercedes out to run in and all this kind of thing. Even Ferrari aren't making a challenge this year. And there's something about Max Verstappen I just don't like. He's just so cocky and arrogant. And people might have said, yeah, Lewis Hamilton was like that when he was his age. No, not really. Hamilton was cocky, yes, but not in a I own the world kind of day, you know? And everything owes him something. Especially what with Horner Spice everywhere. Oh, that Horner Spice on the radio all the time. Well done, Max. Well done. Great race. Love you. Let me lick your arsehole. By the way, your dad's here as well. I'm licking his arsehole too. Fucking Jos is a bigger dick than him. Jos Verstappen and Max Verstappen can go suck a dick, as far as I'm concerned. And look, Red Bull were caught cheating with their spending cap last year, right? And this year they're supposed to have less money to spend, yet they are still miles ahead of everyone else. How is that possible? But also, they must be cheating. They've got to be cheating. There must be something somewhere that they're not doing that someone else. It just can't be that they have a better car. It can't just be that. It just can't. There has to be some sort of element of cheating, like they're making their money go in other places that they're not accumulating for or something, or I don't know. They're doing something skullduggery, and I don't trust Horner Spice to not be completely and utterly transparent with it. The guy is just so untrustworthy. Well, I think he is anyway. I think he's untrustworthy. I don't think he's... Yeah, there's just something that Red Bull are doing that is making everybody else slower than them, and they're just cheating. I know that they are. He just can't prove it. But there must be some way of doing it. And yes, Max is a good driver, and so is Checo. I mean, to be honest with you, I think Checo is probably a better driver than Max. More experienced as well, and probably got a better head on him. Calmer head. But, yeah, it's just, I just know there's a whole load of cheating going on there. But also, you can see that Lewis Hamilton and his Mercedes is a lot slower than George Russell. Now, I've said this right from the start, when George Russell went to the Mercedes and they weren't doing very well. George Russell was at McLaren, where he had to struggle for every single second. He had to really get everything out of that car and try and push. Whereas Hamilton got straight into a very successful car and didn't have to fight for it, only had to drive it very well. So when it comes to a car that's struggling, Russell is able to get that extra bit and fight for it because he's what he's used to. Whereas Lewis isn't. Plus Lewis is a lot older and you can tell that he's on the decline. He's definitely on the decline somewhere. Because he's just not on it. You know, and I think Russell is starting to be number one, and I don't know whether Hamilton will be at Mercedes next year. I don't know. I don't think so. I hope he is, because it would be an end of an era. But I don't think he'll be there next year. I don't think he'll go anywhere either. I think that will be his retirement, because he's had 2 years of Mercedes being dog shit and not competitive. And I don't think he wants that. I don't think he wants to go out on not being competitive. I think if he comes next year and Mercedes is super uber competitive and wins the championship with Lewis in the seat, he will 100% retire. Because number one, he'll go out on a high. Number two, he will have beaten Michael Schumacher's record of 8 world titles. And I don't think he would want to go again because of his age. But I think if he gets through this year and next year is not looking that exciting for him, and he's not really getting up to go and do something, and he doesn't feel the buzz for it or the verve for it anymore, I think maybe this year is his last year. I could be wrong, you know, he might be thinking other things. But I'm not sure if Lewis Hamilton's contract is up at the end of this year. And if it is, they might be thinking other things. Might go, look, Lewis, you've had a great run. You've been fantastic for us and we love you. But it's time for a new driver to come into that seat. In which case, George Russell will be number one driver, without question. But who would be in that second seat? Would it be Lando Norris? I would love to see that. Could Lando be in a Mercedes? Don't know. Would they go for a relative unknown? Maybe Daniel Ricciardo could come back and be a number 2. Would that be a thing? I doubt it, because obviously he's been working for Red Bull as a third driver all this year. And I think Mercedes offered him something to be a third driver and he said no. So I think maybe the Daniel Ricciardo thing would be a no. We'll see what happens. But yeah, the Grand Prix this year is off and we've got another week to wait. Was it another 2 weeks? I'm not sure. I'll have to have a look at the calendar, the race calendar. But we've waited long enough for this one. Because obviously the Chinese Grand Prix was off because of COVID and stuff. But now, it's another week. We're losing races. Excuse me. We're losing races left, right and centre. I can't see that the jam-packed season could make way for them to get the race back in after all the floods. I mean, it's very bad, obviously, that people have lost their lives and lost their homes and stuff like that. It's not great at all. But I want my Grand Prix. But also, did you see the game last night? Holy mother of children. Real Madrid were embarrassed by Man City. Absolutely smashed to pieces. Like, I can't honestly see a way that Manchester City can't lose the Champions League now. They have to win it. I can't see that Inter Milan, unless there is some sort of miracle, I can't see that Man City won't win that Champions League final. They would have to have some sort of massive capitulation in terms of the league. So there's 2 trophies I think will 100% happen. Now the FA Cup, this is where it could get tricky. Even though they are favourites, they are facing Manchester United. And Manchester United have a legacy where they won the treble. And they're defending that legacy, because if they lose the FA Cup, Manchester City have also done the treble. And they won't want that to happen. Manchester United and Manchester United fans will not want Manchester City to do the treble as well. They just won't want it to happen. So I think United are obviously going to go out and try and win the FA Cup anyway. But to win the FA Cup against Manchester City, to stop them in the treble, they're going to be all for that. They're going to be up. And if they're not playing to their absolute maximum to that, you are never ever going to win anything of meaning with Manchester United. Because that is the biggest game on one of the biggest stages for one of the biggest things, one of the biggest emotional ties for the fans. And if Manchester United let that treble go to their noisy neighbours, just say goodbye. Say goodbye. You might as well just become a City fan, because that is just criminal. Criminal. So that FA Cup will be 100% worth watching. I will be watching it, without question. Who do you think is going to win? Do you think Manchester United will win? Or do you think Manchester City will win the FA Cup? In fact, let's ask all 3 questions. Do you think Manchester United will win, or Manchester City will win the FA Cup? Do you think Inter Milan or Manchester City will win the Champions League? Do you think Arsenal or Manchester City will win the Premier League? 3 questions, give me 3 answers, hit it in the comments, go for it. Me personally, I think possibly they'll get the league and they'll get the Champions League. But I think the FA Cup, I think that will be a tight one. But I'm going to go with Manchester United on that one. You're welcome, Man United fans. Sorry, City fans, but you know, you've already won the Champions League and the Premier League, so. But yeah, I'm going to go with Manchester United for the FA Cup and Man City for the Champions League and the Premier League. I mean, the Premier League is pretty much sewn up. They need one win, just one win, and they're not going to lose that, are they? They're really not going to lose that. And they're playing a Chelsea side that has no manager, apart from Frank Lampard, which you could pretty much say is not a manager anyway, because he plays terrible football, as seen by Everton, as seen by previous Chelsea teams that he's put out. They're playing at Chelsea that is seriously not performing, well down in the table, and I think only Man City going to win that. On a heartbreaking matter, Chelsea are set to appoint Maurizio Pochettino. That is like a dagger to my heart. In all honesty, I probably would have preferred him to go to Manchester United, not another London club, especially a club that we had the battle of the bridge with, you know, and they stopped Maurizio Pochettino from winning the Premier League. Yeah. That was like a dagger to my heart, because I know that with Pochettino in the seat at Chelsea, Chelsea are going to be so good. So good. And with the players that they've got and the spending power that they've got, it's just going to be next level. They're going to be right up there. And I wouldn't be surprised if they are challenging for the title, or Champions Leagues, or whatever. I just don't see how they can't be. It might be 2 or 3 years until they actually get to that point, because obviously Pochettino has got to get rid of the dead wood in a couple of transfer windows. He's got to put his own stamp on the team as well, and the way that they play, and instill those ethics and those policies and the morals. So I think it's going to be a couple of years before that happens. But I do think that Chelsea will be an absolute force with Pochettino at the helm, especially with his team around him. Yeah, it's going to, yeah. And then you look at Tottenham. I have no idea who the bloody manager's going to be. And even the managers that they're looking at are not the greatest. And the ones that stepped away have gone, yeah, no. Why didn't he just pick up the phone to Poch and go, look, I'm really sorry for sacking you, but really, really need you back? Like, why didn't he just do that? Why didn't he do that? Poch at the helm would have been getting the fans on side again. It would have been good football, even though we might not have won anything. It still would have been good, attractive, entertaining, and hard-fought football. With passion. And he was the only one to get a tune out of Dele Alli. And if you get a tune out of Dele Alli, you can get a tune out of any Spurs team. Because right now they are playing shite. And they got Brentford at the weekend. And I just know we're going to get turned over by Brentford. I just know it. You know, we can't get Champions League now. That's just long gone. There's just no way we're getting Champions League. Newcastle are too strong. Manchester United are too strong. And Arsenal and Manchester City are too far away. Too far away in points. So it's not happening. So, in all honesty, I cannot see Spurs getting Champions League. Even Europa League. Liverpool are coming into form at the right part of the season. And we're just not better than Liverpool right now. We can't string 2 wins together. It's like draw, loss, win, draw, win, loss. You know, it's just terrible. We can't get hold of it. And some of the players need to leave. They're just not up to standards. Harry Kane's he's only got 1 year left of his contract, and you just don't know whether he's going to re-sign or not. And you bet your bottom dollar that if Harry Kane goes, a lot of others will go too. Son will probably go. I mean, I could see Son in a Liverpool side. I really can. Plays the sort of football that would like. Maybe replace I don't know, like a Firmino or something. He's just that damn good. But Oliver Skipp, although good, I don't think he's at the level we need him. He's not that battler. He's definitely not creative enough. Højbjerg chips in with a couple of goals every now and again, but again, not creative enough. Even the wing backs getting on a bit, not really doing their job well. I mean, Emerson Royale is dog shit, needs to go. I mean, Ben Davies has been a stalwart for Spurs for a long time now, and he has got better as he's got older, but he's getting older. And I don't think he's at the level where we want to compete. I just don't think he's there. It's just a team in turmoil. They're not gelling, they're not playing. They're just being very static, and they're not, just not ticking. They're not ticking at all. I mean, Ryan Mason, he's going to be a good manager at some point. But I think because he knows them inside out, I don't think he's able to come in and just go, right, we're going to run our arses off in training. We need to get our fitness up. We're going to run our arses off. Because I don't think the players will play for him. Because number one, he's interim. He's not an actual manager. Number two, he wants to steady the ship a little bit. So he can't push forward with radical ideas to get players on board. So I don't think long term he's the answer. I think if you got him in front of, say, like a Burnley or a Derby or something like that, I think he would be pretty good. I think he'd be a good manager. But right now I don't think so. I mean, Nagelsmann was in the frame, but I think he stepped away because Levy was playing games with him, saying, we're not going to back you again. So I think Spurs were trying to get ahead of the curve when Nagelsmann stepped away. And they just said, oh no, we're never interested in him anyway. It's literally the equivalent of chatting up a bird, her going no, and then saying, oh, I didn't fancy her anyway. It's exactly the fucking same. Spurs have done exactly the same. Chatting up Nagelsmann, he said no, which meant, oh, we didn't fancy him anyway. Who are we going to get? Who are we going to get? We've had 2 serial winners. Couldn't do anything. Couldn't do feck all. Levy needs to go. Just sell it to a consortium in Saudi Arabia. I don't care. As long as they fund it and they get transfers done and they get quality transfers done. Yeah, I mean, look at Newcastle. They had a change of ownership. They've not really injected a lot of money that they could have done. Not like the Man City that they did. But they're literally top 4. Top 4. They've got a good English manager there. Doing really well for himself. Great fit. And he's smashing it. Absolutely smashing it. But then again, it could have gone the other way. I mean, you look at Potter. Went to Chelsea. Big setup. Couldn't handle it. Failed. But then, you look at what Newcastle had done. And the standards of Newcastle and what the fans were expecting was so much lower. Whereas Chelsea, they're used to hitting Champions Leagues. And they're used to, challenging for titles and stuff like that. Not going to do that. Not going to do that with Potter. Just couldn't handle it. I mean, the fact that the players were taking the mickey out of him and calling him Harry, that just says everything. He just had zero respect. Zero respect. Because someone like Chelsea needs a manager that isn't going to be like a Newcastle where they're coming up through the ranks. Chelsea are a club that need a manager that has been there, done it, seen it, won titles, and they're ridiculous at what they do. Not an up-and-coming English manager. So yeah, that's me rambling on with sport today. So thank you so much for joining. It's been a long one. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you joining. Please do hit me up on all the channels. For YouTube, you can like, subscribe and hit the notification bell. Thank you so much. That'd be amazing. If you're listening on any audible channels, leave me a review. It would be 5 stars preferable, but if you don't, just say what you feel and mean what you say. That is all. And I can either get better with criticism or let my head get bigger with all the praise you're giving me. Either one, I'm happy. So yeah, you can also go over to Patreon, patreon.com/riding-shotgun, and subscribe for £3 a month, just £3, the cost of a beer, and you can get all extra content, plus lots of discounts and bits and pieces as well. Thank you so much for joining me today. I will see you for the next one. I am going to get out of this suit because it is bloody hot, and I am going to enjoy the sunshine and a bit of food as well. So yeah, take care, God bless, and I'll see you for the next one. Peace.